Good morning, this is Jack from the Aftershot.net, and this is the pre-market recording for the morning of, it's the intraday recording for the mid-morning of Tuesday, the 20th of October. Hang on a disclaimer. We do this for educational purposes only. We're here to share our technical analysis with you. We hope you can take some of what we're doing and learn from it, transfer it to your own charts, from now to issue trading signals. Right, yesterday morning I was giving the choice of either we hold the channel and went up directly, or we broke the channel and chances are we went down and made a lower low. And that is the option we've taken, of course. And so far, this is a pretty nice looking flag. Now, it does look, we haven't done this all the time lately, but what we should do is go back, retest the low, make a marginal lower low, and then go up. Let's have a look and see. I'm just going to have a quick look at the RTH charts first on the 15-minute charts to have a look and see how that's going. Now, okay looking flag here. Support trend line not that well defined. If we go back and retest the low, that would give us 15-minute RSI 14 positive divergence and SPX as well. So that's looking pretty good. Not the best flag setup we've got here. We've got better ones, well, everywhere else actually. NDX, nice channel. Looking for a retest and go, but again, this looks like a pretty nice bull flag. IWM, we got a triangle here. This has actually been the strongest on the way up, and it was the strongest yesterday because it was the only one that didn't actually make a lower low. That's looking pretty good. Really not sure we'll get a retest of yesterday's low, so I've actually got this very nice support trend line here, but higher low will be fine on IWM. And then this should be a bull flag triangle that's going to break up. Let's have a look at Dow. Dow, I've got a beautiful wedge here. It's really nice. We could go down to a bit of an underthrow, but chances are it's going to break up. These are all looking like bull flags. And chances are that's because they are all bull flags. And what Stan's talking about a target in the 33.98 area. Yeah, maybe. We can do that. I have got to say that's tougher to call on SPX because we haven't got the very nice support trend line, but I've got this down here in about the 34.10 area. So actually that area is about where you would find this trend line, the ES equivalent of. That looks pretty good. I was saying this morning that there was an argument for doing another high when we had the 1 minute sell signal, which is now finally made target, because this was the initial signal, and then this was up making negative divergence on the higher high, and this is it making target here. What I was talking about was making a higher high on ES. Let's just have a quick look at the 5 minute there. Now, making a higher high on ES here because this is the flag set up from the low yesterday, and this was basically breakdown, retest, double top. We're coming back into double top support, and when we break through that, we should go and test the overnight. Test yesterday's low, which was at 34.10. Should expect to see a lower low today. That'll give us nice positive divergence on the 60-minute chart. And while not all flags break up, I'm pretty sure this one's going to. And I'm really liking the setup here for a long into a retest of the all-time high. So that's looking pretty good. Let's have a look across the futures indices for that. NQ has already made the lower low, but tech has been the weakest here. And I've got an interesting chart showing there actually, just to illustrate that. But tech, the reason we didn't make a new all-time high on SPX on the last move up was basically because tech was slowing it down. We've already got a 60-minute buy signal brewing here. We're testing support of the week to pivot, month to pivot. Not expecting to see this break and convert, so we're not that far away from where I would expect to find support. RTY, I'm a bit doubtful about beating yesterday's low here, but maybe. We're not going to get a 60-minute buy signal here. We've already got one brewing on NQ, and as soon as we get back to yesterday's low, we'll have another one brewing on ES as well. YM, not sure that's going to make yesterday's low, but with any luck it will. That won't give us a 60-minute buy signal here, but I think it will give us it to us on the Dow. Let's have a quick look at that. That'll give us, nice 15-minute RSI 14 divergence, and it'll give us 60-minute RSI 5 divergence. This looks like a flag, and that's because it most likely is a flag. All right, DAX and the STX. DAX is still below the week to pivot and monthly pivot. We had a sell signal, it made target. No buy signal here, and we might get one, could retest yesterday's low, but I think really thinking of the US indices as the dog and and this is the tail already. But ESTX doesn't really look the same as the European indices particularly, but we are likely to be starting a move up when the bull flags break up on the indices as well. So kicking around at the monthly pivot and the weekly pivot, been a bit stronger than DAX has. Okay, let's have a look at the other RTH charts. Now, the question is, when are we going to, when we go back and retest the all-time high, assuming that's going to happen, but so far there's a pretty good pattern set up to get that. When that happens, where do we go from there? Well, there's I've drawn in a possible channel here. This is just in case we make a low in the right area today. You often find I draw in a couple of these for potential patterns that would be pretty good if we made the right area. This would make a pretty good new rising channel. This would be pretty nice, and that makes me wonder if we'd see an exact retest of yesterday's low and maybe just go from there. But we will see. So that looks pretty nice, but we would get nice 60-minute positive divergence on NDX. We would get nice 60-minute positive divergence on the RSI 5. We basically got down to the 30 area, but not enough below it to really set anything bigger up. On IWM, we wouldn't get a buy signal here, but this has been much more of a triangle consolidation than it has been a sort of ABC flag on IWM. Dow, very nice ABC flag. RSI 5 support, RSI 5 and SPX RSI 14 for buy signals there as and when we retest the low. Do I think the retest of the low is likely? Yeah, I'd be leaning towards it. We haven't always had those lately. We've been having them less often than usual lately. But when we get back up and retest the high, we will then have negative divergence on the daily chart, our daily RSI 5 forming more or less across the board. We could just do the retest and fail. But we've got strong targets at both the retest of the all-time highs on both ES and NQ. I'd be expecting to see both of those and then maybe run a bit higher. I was talking about a possible target in the 3650 area, but that was on the basis of a channel which is now, of course, broken. And we probably wouldn't be using the same resistance trend line. So I'll be watching it, and it'll be interesting to see if we get the better patterns on ES this time, which is what we've been having both on this move up and so far on this move down. This is interesting. Normally it's the other way around, but it's interesting that it's not been this time. So we'll see how that goes. All right, so that is equities, and I'm actually going to take questions on equities now. Any questions, guys? And then I'll deal with everything else, because I know you guys, some of you guys are just here mainly for equities, and we are in trading hours at the moment. Would I be so kind as to point out on Twitter if and when positive divergence on ES and SPX? On the 60-minute, you mean? Well, actually, we'll have that as soon as we hit yesterday, as soon as we take out yesterday's lows. At that stage, we will have possible 60-minute buy signals spring and 15-minute RSI 14. So yeah, I can point that out. But it is, as long as you know where yesterday's low is, you'll know when that signal starts spring. But yeah, I'll point it out. No worries. Any more questions, guys? Now we're gonna have something interesting here. Now, an awful. I don't know how much you guys have been watching the overnight markets, but actually since the coronavirus crash, it's we've had a bit of a thing here where the best setups have actually been at night. And actually that's lasted a few months. This is an opportunity for us to have a really nice RTH, a normal trading hours, really nice low. I'm hoping to get that today. It'd be disappointing if the meat of it happens tonight. And obviously I was thinking this might happen as an AM low, and that's now unlikely. But I think chances are we're going to test this in RTH today, and we may well have a nice low. I'll be looking at that. We will be having, I'll be watching the trend lines, and I will be calling it on Twitter. It would be very nice to catch this low. And this might be the nicest one we've seen in RTH for a while. So be looking for that. Chances of holding 3400 area and breaking up pretty high, 70% plus. This is a nice setup. All it's got to do is not break my heart by not retesting the low, which sometimes, if you don't remember when we were at this low here, I think it didn't. No, that one did retest. It was this one. This one didn't come back and retest, which was disappointing. So I'm hoping that won't do this to me. At the moment, this is looking very nice. It's come back to the right area. It looks like we are forming a flag, although that flag could possibly have another leg up within it. The chances are we'll break down, we'll do an RTH low in and get that today, and there might well be a nice 200 handle long in there, which would be obviously nice to catch. So we'll be watching that very carefully. Stan and I are watching this for a trade on the follow the leader system, but also if we get a nice looking low on here, you've got to remember this is one where you'd be inclined to leave the runner because it could run 200 handles. Which tends to be obviously my favorite kind of runner. We will see. Okay, let's run on to other instruments where DX has failed nicely. It's coming down to the retest of the low. Possible support there, but more likely it's going to continue down. ZB, I was talking about the possible retest of the low yesterday. Likely, really, if equities broke up. No, equities didn't break up, and we went down. We're pretty close to the retest of the low anyway. We haven't quite made that retest. Chances are we're going to make it. What does this say about ZB in the next week or so as we probably head up and retest the all-time high on ES? Nothing particularly good. We're probably going to go lower, but I have to say this, the negative correlation with indices has been a bit spotty lately, and we've definitely been seeing that in the last day. CL, we are mid-range testing weekly pivot and monthly pivot. I'm not seeing any particular reason to think this is going to go any lower. This looks like a triangle forming. See the lower highs, lows. This should be a bullish triangle, and if we are looking at the wave structure on it, it would be A, B, C, D, and E, which is usually a partial wave. I think this triangle is about done forming. It is going to break up soon, probably break up with equities. NG, tricky call. We didn't quite make the sell signal target, although we made the possible near miss target. Going higher, I have to say I do have, and it's worth mentioning that I do have a not great IHS, but I do have an IHS that's broken up with a target in the 4.5 area. I would be particularly cautious of taking a short on this. We might find this runs away to the upside. GC, with the dollar going down, we're holding support here. We came pretty close to the trend line support this morning. I'm liking this higher. I mean, it could be if DX does a surprise rally here that we go and retest this low, which is always what I'm wondering looking at a setup like this. But at the moment, as long as this trendline support holds currently in about the 1896 area, this should go higher. I'm not really seeing much reason for it to go lower. SI, testing the monthly pivot, convert that, and I think we're again off to the upside. HG, finally made the retest of this high and is going. I did say that there wasn't any particularly strong reason I could see for it to stop when it got there, and at the moment it isn't stopping. So maybe it will, maybe it won't. No current negative divergence. USD is heading back into the retest of this short-term high, and it's gone back and it's done there. Not seeing any particular reason to think it's going to stop. We will see. GBP USD, interestingly, this has barely moved. I think a triangle is forming here. Likely to break up in due course. A bit surprised we haven't seen more action on the upside already. USD JPY should be falling with dollar, isn't. The correlation has been less than perfect over the last couple of weeks. So expecting this to resolve down, but it's been taking its own sweet time catching up. USD CAD has been going down with the dollar. Pretty close to the retest of the low. No particular reason to think it's going to stop when it gets there. Australian dollar, we've got a 60-minute week buy signal fixed. I think that's probably going to head up from here. I'm liking this to the upside with dollar going down. NZUSD, week 60-minute buy signal is brewing and has fixed, and I'm thinking we're probably heading higher here. There is an argument for coming back and retesting this low. We did break this rising support, but it wasn't a good rising support trend line. KC has gone and retested the low, possible second low, a double bottom here. No positive divergence on the hourly chart, but I think we do have it on the daily. SB, I'm wondering about a move up into this trendline resistance in the 1510 area. Retest this high gives us some 60-minute negative divergence. Not seeing any particular reason to think it would stop there, though. CC has broken declining resistance very slightly. Weak 60-minute sell signal is fixed. Ideally, if we're bottoming out here, and we probably are, we would come back, retest the low and go, but there is an alternative where we could be forming an IHS right shoulder, and the IHS ideal right shoulder would be about the high about at the low we've just made. So it could be we're doing that with this as the neckline. Likely one or the other, chances are it's turning. ZW, a 60-minute sell signal is fixed, not showing much sign of turning yet, but there is a nice looking little double top here, sustained break under 618. Would be looking for about the 595 area. The corn, no current divergence, possible topping action. Soy, this looks like a bullish flag forming. Chances are it's going to resolve into at least a retest this high. Maybe fell there, maybe not. Cotton, I've got a high quite up, a bit higher up in about the 78 area on the channel. Not currently seeing any reason it won't make it, but we do have a possible 60-minute sell signal brewing. Lumber, finally got some action on the 60-minute buy signal. That did make target, but it does look like it's been forming a bear flag. So I'm leaning towards seeing a retest this low and then maybe higher after that. Live cattle, I was saying yesterday that we had a very nice resistance trend line, and chances are if we broke it, that would be a bullish sign. We didn't break it. And it dumped directly from there. No particular sign that that's turning, although we do have a bit of positive divergence now. Surprised. We did get up into the high window without doing a retest though, so maybe this is another leg down. Yeah, I'm not seeing any particular reason for this to be going down, but obviously it is. I'm not seeing any particular reason to think this is the area where it's going to reverse back up. Lean hogs, 60-minute sell signal is fixed. Dan is looking for some weakness here. This could be a sign of it. No particularly obvious reversal pattern. Okay, what questions we got, guys, if any? No, in that case, that's a wrap. Anyway, sorry about the late webinar today. I had a few issues. And we'll see how it goes later. I'll be watching the market very carefully today. If we go down and do the lower low, and I'm really hoping it will, because that could give us a really nice trade, I will be watching that like a hawk. I'm watching all of these reversal patterns very nicely, because this looks like a really, really nice long trade starting up, and I think that's because it probably is. We'll see how that goes later. I'll be on Twitter with my comments, and we will see how that goes. Hopefully we get that in RTH today, not too late. It would be nice to catch this as a nice RTH trade, and I think there's a good chance that's exactly what we'll do. All right, cheers guys, catch you later.